Alright, sup everybody? So today, it's going to be a cool little video. So today, I'm going to be showing you how to build stall. And to do this, I'm not going to, I'm not going to put the person on blast here who made this team. But they were in the stall Discord server, they were asking for tips. So I think I'm going to make a video about making stall. And for this one, I'm going to do specifically a National Dex OU. So yeah, so once again, building stall is a very fun thing to do. So it's a incredible, how do I put it? Like once you build a good stall team, you'll feel really good. So I think I'm gonna give the biggest tips, and this is not gonna be like an organized video. This is gonna be straight off the dome. So for the first part here, like looking at this person's team, he's making a Mega Sableye stall team. So first off the bat, let's recognize this stall team. You utilize Mega Sableye to use items, because that's the whole point of this guy. Like, else you're gonna be running like double or triple defog with G-Weezing, so you can run your items. But this time you run a Mega Sableye, so you can have one defogger and the rest can abuse their broken items. So if you just look at this straight off the team, it's like a normal, genuine, just regular stall team. But if you take a closer look, it's weak to so many things. First of all, there's no Mega Charizard Y answer just looking at this. Because, like, what the hell's a switch into Weather Ball? You just explode, right? And next, there's no switch into Ogre Pawn. You just, where's that? Where's he at? Where's the goat at? So, yeah, this guy blows up this whole team, right? You just die. And that's basically the major weaknesses I've seen. Besides that, on paper, that's what it's just like in general, weak 2, so you just have to look for that. And in general, with a stall team, you should aim to cover every single OU mon. And in my opinion, every single UU mon. It sounds tough, but it's not so hard in practice. Actually, it's actually pretty hard in practice. You just have to test a lot of the teams, and you'll see what's weak to. But anyways, so first with stall, you want to recognize what exactly do you want to do with the stall. So there's multiple different types of stall. And that sounds crazy to some people when I say it, but there is. It's not just every single stall is a do-nothing stall, you wall the opponent. No, there's different goals with stall. For example, this stall aims to, just looking at it, your win con is a Wave Crash Dondozo or Hazards with Knock. And those are the only two win cons I see so far. And status spam. There's a lot of status. So it's either status spam, Hazards, or Curse Dozo, or a mixture of the three, right? Or just straight up flat out walling the opponent and doing nothing. Which is my least favorite playstyle, because that is too prone to getting hacks, and that's too prone to doing nothing and not being able to put on the pressure on the opponent. That type of stall sucks, so don't make that type of stall. So just to put an example about like the different types of stalls, this stall is similar to a do-nothing stall, but it's a hazard stack knockoff and status spam stall, which a lot of stalls end up becoming automatically because due to the nature of stall. This one here is a win con stall focused on getting your Hydra in, and with Cursed Dondozo. So you can see 2 win cons, and then a Progress Maker with Toxapex. And then you need to have 2 Glumons, which is your core from your Claude side, right? And your Mega Sableye, which holds it all together and enables the item abuse, and core enables the item abuse, right? And another stall is, let's say, boot stall. For boot stall, you don't have Mega Sableye, so now you have to worry about getting knocked off. So that's another thing you have to recognize. So each stall, it's going to be different. Every single time it's going to be different, right? So learning to make stall is a very long process, but you can hopefully visualize what I'm talking about with just this specific first example. So as I said earlier, I'm just repeating myself, but Mega Sableye is the main person on this team that's going to enable the rest of the team. So first you have to recognize what this stall variant is. So this is a Mega Sableye hazard stall and hazard block stall. So with this type of team, it's either you are not solely relying on defog, you're forcing knockoffs with these two, and then it's either if you need a defog, you want to force your opponent to defog. Because you have a Mega Sableye, and you have what? You don't want to donate 2 other slots to defog unless you have a G-Weezing. There's no other reason you want to use defog, right? So anyways, with this Mega Sableye stall, you want to enable basically the items. And what ruins these items is hazards. So in order to keep control of your hazards, you want to make it where your opponent succumbs to hazards faster. So to do that, you want to have like Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rock. Which this team lacks Toxic Spikes, but it's not an end all be. Some good team. There's very good teams that Toxic Spikes. Anyways, that's essentially what this Mega Sableye does. It enables the item, and it allows you to put pressure on the opponent while forcing them to defog. But that's majority of matchups. Or in some good matchups, or just reasonable matchups, your opponent can't even get hazards. Let's say they're using a Fair Front or Ting Lu, or they're using Hyper Offense. Even with the Mega Anti, they're not getting the hazards up. Actually, yeah, they're getting hazards up against Form and it dies. The Golden will block your hazards forever. But that's the point. They get Stealth Rock up against you. So what? When they Stealth Rock, spike up, Stealth Rock up. Like, put the pressure on them before they can burn you down. So don't be passive with stall. Make some good plays. The worst type of stall players are the people who think you can just sit around and do nothing. Of course, with the matchups when you can, but the often just straight up doing nothing often leads to hacks and you losing. So let's take a look into the team structure here. So you want to lead with any mon you want, and here they decided to go to one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, especially Defensive Core Knight with Roost Protect. I created this set. I kid you not. I literally not seen this set ever until I created it. So I'll take props for that, because I made a rank 1 team that was used in tournaments by other people, not me, because I'm a loser. But anyways, what I noticed about this core and the rest of it, let's say ignore the rest of the team. Right? This core is going to be the one taking specifically the Psychic and Fairy moves. So that means the rest of your Pokemon are free to be whatever you want. Just remember, your strong special Psychic moves from the Lele, from the what's her name? Mega Guard, Iron Crown. This is going to be the main hit taker. And yet keep that in mind for later on. Okay, next we have the GOAT on stall, Gliscor, the guy who's absorbing all the knocks. So this is the stall. This is the stall mastermind. So here you run knockoff. Of course, knockoff is mandated in this type of stall archetype because you need to force the hazard removal. You need Toxic and Spikes. So Spikes is good, I agree with. Some people run Defog, but I don't really like Defog because that's just too passive. You can run Toxic here, but it's not really the best option because you don't want to be too passive. Because if you look at this, what's the only attacking moves? Knock, Iron Head, Knock Off. Like, what are we doing, right? But and if you look at the sets, this wants to be a physically defensive Gliscor, but of course some stall variants are good with physically defensive Gliscors, but we have to acknowledge what tier we're in. We're in the National Dex OU tier. Who's Gliscor switching into? Not Charizard Y. Yes, you hardwall Cinderace now. Claude, Corv, making it you can't wall no more. Dragonite still has ice as the ice move, but you can still take one hit from Ice Spinner. Ferrothorn, yes. Garchomp, if it's SD, heck no. If it's hazards, oh, chump change. You're killing him, and Corv is still killing him anyways. Tusk, you're taking way less from Tusk, but still Ice Spinner forces you out. Hat now threatens you. Heat right now super threatens you. Iron Tread's not really, and the list goes on and on and on. You can basically see how running this physically defensive set doesn't really help, doesn't really support the team that well. Like, for special attackers, your main way to handle that special attackers here, this person made Claude. But what if Claude gets overwhelmed? What if you want to save this Claude for that Calm Mind Z Modest Raging Bolt, right? That means you don't want to go to Claude every single time there's a threat out. You want to go someone else. Say a Core or Gliscor. So me personally, I don't think physically defensive really benefits the team the most. But we can discuss that later more extensively. So Claude, first of all, there's a missing EV here, and you have poison points. So we're switching that to Unaware, and we're not going to waste EVs. Black Sludge, I always agree with Black Sludge. I don't think you should be running any other item except Heavy Duty Boots on non-Mega Sableye stall. And regular OU, you can run. You should run leftovers, but you should always run leftovers, honestly. Yeah. But Boots Claude is very noticeably way weaker. I like Claude on this type of stalls. Unless you have a Wish Support Publicity in the back with a Boots Claude. But either way, I don't really like running Boots Claude. I like Black Sludge more. But getting that the way, one of the main weaknesses I know is that you run Toxic. Toxic is indeed a very good move, but I typically don't like running it. Why? Because there's so many things that are flying types with Levitate, and straight to have Substitute or Taunt. You straight to get 6-0'd by that. So what do you do to solve it? Poison Jab. And let's say you need to poison something very badly like that. I don't know. What's your name? The Hatterene. You have poison jab in the back, smash him, right? Okay, the next Pokemon, Alomomola. First, you're not running heavy duty boost. The point of this Mega Sableye stall is to use your items. So you want to run Rocky Helmet or Rocky Helmet. You can run Rocky Helmet. You can run Leftovers. You can run some more niche items too, like Ability Shield to stop that Weezing G who thinks they're gonna beat you when you're not. So you switch in with a hard Alomomola and then switch out and then PvP stall them to death by going Gliscor Alomomola for eternity. Or you can run, I don't know, what's another good item? This guy. Cloak is good. Eject is only good on normal offensive oriented teams. And I run Eject on bounce teams too. It's not bad. But that's really all you want to be running. AV's really good on this. And Magic Coat. Bounce back certain non-damaging moves. We have a whole Mega Sableye, so we're not going to waste a thing. I'll remove that for now. And Dozo. This Dozo set isn't bad. I just don't put that in attack. Why would you put that in attack? But it doesn't really matter too much. It does matter since a good amount of circumstances. You'd be surprised how many they do. Of course, Underwear is a good ability. I check, yeah. Regenerator, yeah, Poison Heal, Pressure, Magic, yes. Wait. Always make this Prankster. Yeah, because it said Magic Bounce here, I think, earlier. So always make it Prankster. Because you always want to be Prankster. Because in the Hyper Offense matchup, where you already removed the hazard, the Suicide Hazard from the Lando, you already removed the hazards. This guy, there's no point having this guy in Mega form unless you're going against like a Mega Gera with Taunt. Then you want to keep this in Mega so you can live that attack and Wisp it. But like, most of the times you want that priority Wisp. It's just too good against Hyper Offense. Anyways, this Dondozo, biggest thing I see. Why would you have Wave Crash for that bigger move? I get it, but like 16 PP, which is less PP, which you need more PP than 16 PP. Like, that's why we don't use Liquidation, even though you can drop. Like, why would you use Liquidation over Wave, like the other? So we're gonna use Waterfall because first of all, it has more PP, and more importantly, Wave Crash is a self-sabotage move. You are dealing damage to yourself with this, right? Okay, now look at the team as the whole. You can see this is the main whole archetype team. Now, if you look at it, it looks like a solid team on paper. Once again, the Ogre Pond, like a Charizard Y. And what many people don't really think about when bringing stalls, because at least people who don't automatically slap on Blissey on every single team. Of course, there's nothing wrong with running the Blissey every single time to absorb status, but those who build teams without Blissey, because I build a lot of teams without Blissey installed, because Blissey is really not all that in National XLU. In OU, it is the GOAT in OU. National XLU, it is not all that. No, it's incredibly good. But the team that lacks Blissey needs to worry about status. And oftentimes the status comes from special attacks or physical attacks. For physical attacks, you're only really worried about Metal, and that's really it. There's really nothing else that can status you upon hitting you. Yeah, but mostly special attacks, like your Heat Waves, or your Hurricanes, or more importantly, Psynoids. You want something to beat Psynoids that isn't just Mega Sableye. So for that, usually on core, especially defensive cores, even if you don't have that passive recovery with Leftovers and Protect, I like running Covert Cloak. But we can alleviate this because there's no point having Covert Cloak if you still get beaten by Mega Charizard Y. So the aforementioned Blissey, which absorbs this status from Flamethrowers or from Heat Waves or Hurricanes or Psy Noises, you can run a Blissey here instead. So now you want to choose who to run Blissey over, who is not really going to do that big of a deal. So for making style, you want to look at two things play the same exact role. You look at Gliscor. It is the Hazard Enforcer that beats balances. It's your main way to break stall. It's your main way to break other opposing teams, especially with Toxic and Spikes. That is doing numbers against your opponent, right? I'm assuming they're not rocking the core, but that core is gonna whoop you until you die because the core is gonna pressure defog, but you're gonna reverse pressure with the normal core, right? Anyways, but this Gliscor has its own purpose. This Corviknight, we already talked about its purpose. If you remove Gliscor, you're dying to Lele. You cannot remove this Corviknight. We already talked about Mega Sableye. This is the enabler of the team. So if a Clodsire, you already have a physically defensive ground type here. So here, Why would you need another ground type? Well, this is the underwear absorber of the team. This is underwear special defensive mod that can take on many threats that Gliscor can't. What are these notable threats? Well, mostly it's Raging Bolt and Tapu Koko. Those two, and Zapdos. Those three electric types are known for Whoop and Stall. Alright. And most importantly, the Golden Man. You need to have a threat. You need to have counterplay against the Golden Man. And Heatran. But no, a well-timed taunt will get a blow up that Clodsire. Anyways, the Golden Man, you need the Golden Man. You need a countermeasure against the Golden Man. So that's what Clodsire does. Now, anyways, I talked about Heatran, now you're currently weak to Heatran and Mega Charizard. Why? Because this is physically defensive. Even if this was specially defensive, you'd still be weak to Mega Charizard. Why? So what is the solution here? What is it? That means it's up to these two. Who do you remove? Right? So this is specially defensive. You can make this physically defensive or a mixture of both. But you can add whatever movie here you want. And this is the average cursed Dozo with leftovers. So if you notice, what is missing? What could you, between these two, who should you remove to alleviate that Mega Charizard Y weakness and that Heatran weakness and that Petron weakness? That person is probably only one person. It's probably, what's his name? Toxapex. Toxapex fills all those roles. So I'd assume you would use Toxapex over all of those. Just blatantly looking. Now, if you think about it, Toxapex still gets whooped by Ogerpon, right, before an SD. Hence why you want to have it being severely limited by Stealth Rock and Spikes, right? And Dozo. Now, if you think about it, Ceruledge in National X OU, it's really popular. Even though it's not necessarily an OU, I still think it's really good. I see it used in tournaments a good amount of times. More importantly, so what set can be used to beat Charizard Y, beat Heatran, and beats Ogre? Well, there's only one set for that. This is already given to you here. So what can you use instead of that? You could use... I already forgot the term. Already. Forgot the thing. I forgot what it was called. Oh no, Shed Shell? Yeah, Shed Shell. You can have Haze, but you already have two underwear guys. So since you have two underwear guys, there's not really a point for Haze. You want Toxic Spike. It's whatever you want. You can run Jab. You can run... No, you won't run Jab. You can run a Sludge Bomb because you're special. But you could run Jab for the Ogre. But usually Toxic Spikes is better at limiting it. But on paper, this team structure doesn't really fit the bill. It doesn't really work that well, honestly. But it does help it does help against what majority of the threats can offer. So now with this type of build, you can beat majority of the threats. But there's still more adjustments you can make. As you can see, 3 of these mods here are especially defensive, but this one is mixed. What I recommend is you keep this so you can live with +2 Ogerpon power whip. But remember, majority of Ogerpons nowadays are running U-turn, Encore, or Spikes. So that's okay. So I'll recommend here is help against the Heatran matchup and run a specially defensive Gliscor here. So just run a regular specially defensive Gliscor. So Earthquake, you have Knock, Toxic, and Spikes. So here, if you notice any more weaknesses, you still lose to status spam of your opponent, or the passive status spam. So instead of leftovers, you're gonna make this Covert Cloak. A lot of teams can end up looking the same, but that's okay. What else? As you can see here, this Toxapex handles who? Ogerpon and Charizard Y. But what else is the point of this Pex here? T-Spike absorbers can also be clawed. You know what you can actually do? Use a really creative solution, Dragonite. It's a backup defogger, and that also beats Golden Go. Could Dragonite work? Yes, Dragonite can actually work if you think about it, because it helps against the many weaknesses of this team. First of all, this team is very weak to Grass, specifically against Rillaboom. Not really good switches there. Once again, Mega Charizard Y is doing the dash on you, and Moltres, nah, that's why you got specially defensive Glass Core for that. Just why I do just look through the thing. And it also helps beat Heatran. Heatran with Toxic though is gonna be a problem. So that's why I got Glass Core anyways. It also helps beat Shifu, but you got a Doze over that. It helps beat Volk, we have a Claude. So yeah, the main major threat is Mega Charizard Y and Tran and Ogre. So you can run a Dragonite, but by foregoing the Toxapex, what are you missing? You're missing a Regenerator Mon. Do you need a Regenerator Mon install? Not necessarily. I've made multiple stalls to hit rank 1 without Regenerator. Are you a crazy man for not using Regenerator? Yes, you are. You are absolutely diabolically insane for not using Regenerator. But for the purposes of the video, you can just not use a Pokemon with Regenerator. They do work. So, let's try this out. Of course, we want to outrun Gambit. And in this case, we want to be especially defensive. Lower special attack, and you should be good. So you want to run what? Earthquake? What else here? What else you want to run on this stall? What else does the team need? You don't want to run Heal Bell. Heal Bell plus Gliscor is a horrible mixture. Because if you Heal Bell on your Gliscor after Gliscor gets knocked, where's your Toxic or that, right? So you don't want to run Heal Bell. So maybe Pex is the play, but for circumstances video, let's just run this D9. Let's run Leftovers. And since the Corviknight is already the Absorber, you can run Clover Cloak on this guy. Sure, let's make Defog the last move, since you're a Flying type. There's no reason not to. Leftovers for that passive recovery. You can run Low Kick. For whom? For these big threats like Gambit, Kyurem, Latios. If you notice, not what things can switch in Earthquake. Specifically, Corv, Moltres, the birds, Lando, and Steel. And so you want not Steels. So you can run Toxic actually. Try Toxic. That's actually a hard thing to switch into. You already have Earthquake Toxic. So you want this to be the Toxicer? Yeah, you could actually. You can run double Toxic on this actually. You could. Or you can run Detail. Yeah, Detail is actually better. And then what do you use your last move? To threaten the birds. That's a good question. You can run Roar. We already have Details, so no point in that. You can run yeah, you can run Toxic with Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave's really good. You can run anything you want. Just think about it. Is this team weak to anything so far on paper? No. Kind of, yes. You are kind of weak to Cinderace. Because it forces in Dozo, forces in Gliscor. Gold, your hard switch is Claude, so you're kind of weak to Gold plus hazards. Like with Samu, you're kind of cooked. Dragonite, like Samu's kind of weak for this team, but Samu kind of beats a lot of stalls, so I think it's fine. And you can always outplay the Samu by hazards and stuff. Haze. Oh, I know Dragonite gets Haze, but Haze Dragonite sucks. Low Kick? Nah, you don't even want Low Kick, do you? Wait, what? Let's go with Toxic. So yeah, this team's kind of hard to make better. So you got the Charizard Y switch in, which is Dragonite with Leftovers, always making multi-scale. I think Toxic is the play, because you want to put those Flying Birds at a later time. So, let's go on. Just want to test this team once. See how it goes. What minutes are we? 24. Okay, not bad. But yeah, this team can be improved because this is on paper, but this is just the general sense of making a stall team on paper. And then the biggest part of finding a stall team, obviously, is testing. Always test, 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 and test. Of course, I'm not making this. I turned this basic stall team into a crazy diabolical stall team, but relatively kept the sets the same, right? Because there's no point. You don't want to have physically defensive Gliscor in this tier, especially paired with Claude. There's no point in the 74 attacks, so I didn't change it much. And changing up the items is not too bad. You don't want to change as crazy Pokemon. I only changed one Pokemon, which would be Aloe, but Aloe here was a hindrance, right? So I think it should be fine. Dragonite looks like a very fun set. Of course, I ended up making a team that looks like a Shiest, but you know, so it goes, I guess. Any big weaknesses for this team? Yes. Mega Tyranitar, as always, is a giga threat to any type of stall. As any Tyranitar variant would be a threat to stall. Typical threats to stall, such as Ursaluna, Iron Hands, what else? Hoopa, those big threats. And the three possible biggest threats to stall just pulled up. It's pretty bad. Okay. Yeah, we don't have Earthquake. This is horrible. Always run Earthquake, folks. There's no point in not spiking. Like, I don't really need Gliscor or anything for... Okay. I have a Dozo. A whole Dozo. What are you doing? I'm not Rocky Helmet, aren't I? So, can I curse up? Would it be bad play to curse? Nah. If I curse... Yeah, it actually would be bad play to curse. So I have to ret. I'm faster. I'm faster. Oh yeah, it's that's fine. Got a whole Dragonite. Play Rough is about to whoop me. Press. Okay, good thing we forced it out. Trick Room. Detail him out. I don't have Roost on this guy. That's why I noticed. That's why I'm missing Roost. There. He's too similar to Gliscor. Put Earthquake on this. Yeah, now this looks crazy. Ooh, not looking good. We don't need Clodsire, do we? Yeah, we just sacrifice you and your soul and die. How much does Sucker Punch do? Oh, it's not Sucker Punch. What the hell? Damn, you got me. Anyways, as I said, you want to experiment always. Always experiment. I'm bad. I should have known I was faster. Here, if I had Earthquake, this would have been immediate 6-0, because, you know, Earthquake slams Mawile. So I'm just going to go Sableye and Arc-Wisp. Ooh, that's bad for him. I'm going Gliscor here. Take a truck ton. After you remove your big club, you're not too big of a threat. No, this is... I think this is Z, right? This has to be Z. Yeah. For sure Z. Look, we got that COVID cloak. But anyways, yeah. You make stupid stuff. So even me, I make multiple rank 1 teams. I forgot Roost. Yeah. It looks nice. Am I recording a whole new video because I made a stupid mistake? Heck no. I shall know that. Team builders often make mistakes. Stupid mistakes. That's CTC level of stupidity. You have to Healing Wish here, right? Because you know lose your core. You already saw Ironhead. Actually, you know what? Yeah, since he's Healing Wish, I should go Gliscor to prevent the Ursaluna. Would that be a choke? Yeah, that would be a choke. Because what if he just attacks here? Luckily, I mentioned the big stall threats, and all three of them decided to pull up without invitation. Yeah, okay. And he dies. Yeah, going Gliscor would have been a choke. The play here is Sableye and Mega Up. And now the GOAT Ursaluna is about to whoop my whole family. So I protect here once as he goes for a goaded move. I'm gonna go Corv once. Then he fire punches. Oh, he's whooping me right now. Goes for facade. I'm gonna go Sableye. Protect. Now I'm gonna do some crazy plays. Watch this. Time for some crazy plays. I'm going Mega Sableye. I'm not gonna. Oh, I'm garbage. Should protect. Yeah, it's whatever. Should always protected because it was a free turn. As he decides to go Mega Mawile. Yeah, I'm just gonna knock again. And free protect here. There's no way bro choked this, right? Don't have Ice Beam. He choked this. He choked this. How did he choke this? He has Ice Beam. He did not choke it. He did choke this. He did choke. What? What? Bro, look at the elo. Can you guys see the elo? No, you can't. That's scummy. What? Can you guys see the elo? I don't know. Kinda. Yeah, you guys see the elo now? Look at that. That's crazy, huh? Wow. Can you guys see the quality? The Kyle Wall is kind of bad. I can't lie. So yeah, he got obliterated and left. Just run another one. Yeah, run one more. This is the updated version. But anyways, I'm probably gonna send this person not adjusting any of their Pokemon because I kind of feel bad because what if maybe it's like the top 6 favorite Pokemon of all time on stall. So like, I kind of feel bad removing a little more. So I'll keep it on there. I'll just tell them be careful of those because you probably get 6 out immediately. But if they want a better team, I would probably recommend them this version. Probably. That's crazy though. Cam, how do you lose that? How does one lose that? Especially after a blunder, after I did not rest. No, I did not curse up like an idiot. I did not curse. But it's okay, because it happens. Very much happens all the time. Dang, what now? Just wait for a match? What is it to talk about? Anyways, that is how you build a stall team. Just acknowledge the archetype it is. Acknowledge your win cons. Specifically, a lot of times we'll probably knockoff plus hazards plus like a setup win con, like Dondozo, Calm Mind Bliss, Calm Mind Clef, or the occasional SD Gliscor. Because typically, if you want on a stall win con, you want to have a win con that also boosts the attacking stat plus the defensive stat. But a Swords Dance Gliscor on stall does indeed work. I wouldn't really recommend Swords Dance Gliscor stall unless you're using Taunt. Taunt Gliscor stats are really good on stalls. Swords Dance Taunt, or just regular Taunt hazards, or just hazardless Taunt really breaks a lot of teams. Okay, so we're going against this guy at 1688 Elo, Neo Justice. He has the most horrifying sight humanly possible. Urshifu into this team, but it's okay. He actually has multiple horrifying sights. He has Tyranitar plus Slowking G plus Urshifu. Like, let's see, this guy's an idiot. He is not. I get the free burn, so good thing we got the first turn correct. Ew, stall. Yes, I agree. Stall is probably one of the craziest things you'll see in life. He goes, boom. This is Gorilla. But look what we got D-Knight that goes with the back. And he has no switch-ins to this Earthquake Toxic set we have on D-Knight. Toxic here as he goes T-Tar. I'll go Sable. What if he rocks? Probably not. Realistically, he's going to Stone Edge as a Mega Tyranitar. Why is he showing me Choice Band? Yeah, I can safely go Tyranitar here. Just for the knock. Well, you've been toxic, buddy, so you're going down. Goes Tredulous. Why are you going Treads? Oh wait, I'm stupid. What if he had a Volt? How would I look like an idiot? Am I gonna risk the Heat Wave Burn? Yes. It's a sick man. Oh yeah, Heat Wave Burn with the Zap is another good way to break this team. If you notice. Judging off the damage that is Giga Banded, he was Protect for free. If he's smart, he would go Shifu, but he does not. He just hammers. I can just go D-Knight. I can tank that with ease. Yeah, with Giga Ease. Never mind, that was not with ease. Why do you do so much? I can go Core first. And no sane person Sludge Bombs. I would Sludge Bomb here. It's Assault Vest. Fudge. See, I'm horrible. Sludge Bomb here again. This guy has nothing to fear, but I need to recover. Oh, damn. Assault Vest Loki G here, National Dex. That's crazy. He's crazy. I swear, he's crazy. Okay, I'm bad. He's swaps to the go. It's okay. Gliscor. Ooh, Spike. Earthquake is technically the better play. No, it's not. Always Protect here. I want to knock on Treads. Like, if I was in a tournament, I'd probably knock on Treads. As he goes for, like, the fucking nuclear ballistic missile move. Gets a crit that does a quadrillion damage. How? That's like quadrillion. You can kill 2 full HP Dragonites. I can go Sableye here, because, you know. Oh, it's lefty, so it's probably going to be defensive. Offensive lefties is good, too. Don't count that out. But Refi Earthquakes, high horsepower, the Jack. I want to Wisp here, but I'm mad. I'm not risking anything. I'm going to go Clodsire, because the more hazards I stack up, the more you can remove. This is not Fog. This is full Hurricane and some other thing. D-Knight, my boy, you looking low. This is the freest stock ever. I'm gonna take the chip. I don't think you're staying in, so I have to recover here. Damn, I'm looking low. High horsepowers again. But he self-sabotaged himself and gave me the grassy terrain. No knock recipient here. Heck yeah, we got him. We got the go. Oh man, with the swiftness, I'm stacking these hazards up. Those Treads does not matter, amigo. I'm going back to Mega Sableye. No, like, if you look, do not overpredict, okay? Ever install. Do not ever overpredict. Okay? In these type of scenarios, so what? So what if he decides to predict horsepower on the super obvious Mega Sableye? Why? There's no reason not to. You want to risk losing? You want to risk losing because they decide to desperation rapid spin and you look the fool. You lost all your progress, right? That makes sense, right? There's no reason not to, so why do it? And he sets up the grassy terrain for us. And believe it or not, one of the grassy terrain ones, I forgot, like the guy that gets fucking overshadowed. Yeah, who was the Giga loser? I forgot his name. Bulu. Bulu's offensive SD Bulu is the go. Right? But still, he's pretty gonna stall. He's pretty gonna stall with leftovers protect. Like busts Rain badly, and he's really good against like Heka team archetypes. Like he's a pretty good switch into like Rilla, T-Tar. That's really it. Honestly, well, I made one team. I'm not in a good mood for this. I hope you have this as luck. Okay, so you can see if you're a bad person, you stall. That's how you build a stall team, I guess. Test. You're gonna see how earlier Knock plus Earthquake was clearly the better maneuver instead of Toxic. So we decided to put the Toxic Earthquake combo on Dragonite, and we decided to put the Knock Earthquake spikes on Gliscor. Now, if you notice, how the hell do you beat Corviknight? Doesn't Corviknight jack your shit? Yes, he does. He actually does. Knock off. He's like, but at the same time, he had beat Corvik's Stealth Rock. you beat Corv on every single time they come in with Corv, you have plots that you stealth rock. Eventually the Corv's gonna run out of defogs, and then eventually you get your stealth rock up, your spike up. If they play smart, they're gonna wait for you to stealth rock and spike, or just to double spike on Corv. And if they get it up, if you get them up even once and Corv is not in, you have to start doubling out on Mega Sableye, forcing them Nox, forcing them Will-O-Wisp on dudes they really don't want to take, and eventually it goes down. But if they have Corviknight plus Clefable against this team, and the Clefable has a knockoff, you probably want to shoot yourself and regret ever loading up stall. So that's why stall's fun on ladder and in tournaments, but it's probably realistically you want to use it. Some balance, some bulky offense, some bulky balance. Those are my favorite ones. Or limb balance. Those are my favorites for that Cinderace. Anyways, hope you have the rest of your day, people. Have a good one. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got the main premises of my ideas. I was kind of blabbering. It's my first time doing something like this. I'll probably be more high quality in the future. Where it's like I start listing them off and be like, so this is what you're gonna do, and then I'll have a prepared team that looks garbage and explain it, and then I'll explain every archetype, and I'll do a BKC type video where like halfway through the video get off topic about something, and then like it'll be hecka good detail, like hecka good info mixed in with like the most irrelevant things you ever heard. It'll be entertaining and funny. If you watch until the end, I really appreciate this. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.